Hear me now. Believe me this, Kyle. Fortune favors the bold, and luck favors the prepared. DarbyCast Wildcard Friday, Kyle and I were discussing whether we talk about the Super Bowl this week or maybe next week or the week after that. But I'm feeling it today. And many people right now are saying, who gives a shit? And I get it, right? There's a lot going on in our country, and the Super Bowl doesn't seem the most relevant. However, it is important for each and every one of us, occasionally, to pretend to be indoctrinated enough into the system to care about the trivialities of hyperconsumption, gluttony, and meaningless sporting events punctuated by Taylor Swift. Show up to a Super Bowl party. Act like you're excited about the Taylor Swift angle, whatever that is. Oh my gosh, do you think they're going to hug at the end, win or lose? Say something like that. You know, Kyle, before we started recording, you said something profound to me. And let's take a quick little time out before I get to this. If you're new here, leave. We've been on a journey, and we are perpetually in the parking lot of the stadium of not okay as it relates to progressive norms. And if that startles you, take your proverbial car and drive it off a cliff as a metaphor. But if you're a hero, step into the space. But Kyle, I'm going to share with the people what you said to me before we started recording. You said, I always knew life was going to be hard. I just never knew it was going to be this gay and retarded. You're not supposed to use those words, Kyle, as far as I understand. But I'm kind of happy that you did. The Super Bowl is probably going to have some pretty gay commercials. Also, some that are a little bit retarded. Maybe they're going to have two guys with Down syndrome kissing or something. And then wrap it up with buy a Kia Sorento. But why is this all important, Kyle? Because you got to go to a Super Bowl party. I don't want anybody listening to this to skip out on a Super Bowl party. Maybe you host one yourself. Not to get into the super political, but just to drop breadcrumbs. After that Kia commercial, you turn to people who you care about at your Super Bowl party and say, that was a little bit weird, wasn't it? I don't know why that was important. Oh well, back to the game. And then you leave it alone. When a commercial for Tostitos queso dip comes on in Spanish and says, Oye, Feñas del NFL, or whatever Spanglish they try to plaster on your television, that's an opportunity to say, ¿Qué pasa con este? What's going on with this? Oh well, back to the game. Leave it alone. Don't force the issue. Remember, many a normie is right on the cusp of having a mental breakdown because they have been trying to track with all of the stuff going on in society and keep up with the language and keep up with the trends and try to be a good person and support Ukraine or whatever. And they're getting pretty tired. We, as DarbyCast doctors, we have done a great job of not getting swept up in all the issues du jour over the past 3-4 years. But normies, boy, have they been sucked in and in a lot of ways sucked off by the riptide of this demonic culture of ours. From experimental medicine to unlimited illegal immigration, they're fine with all of it. But deep down, they're not. Now, we've sort of done episodes like this in the past, Kyle. And this is a little bit of a how-to guide on getting through to people. You don't say outright, they're exploiting these Down syndrome people and making them kiss. And I find this disturbing and disgusting. You say, that was a little bit weird, wasn't it? and then that's it. Just plant a seed. Believe it or not, some people don't have good friends in their lives that know how to ask very subtle questions and utilize the word weird. Isn't it a little weird when our government cares so much about other countries, not so much our own? I don't know. What do you think? Very subtle. Do you ever wish your government cared about you or could even pretend like they did rather than be openly hostile? I don't know. Let's just have a Coca-Cola classic. What do you say, Norman? Do you know anybody named Norman? I don't. But if I did, I'd offer him a Coca-Cola classic out of a glass bottle. Maybe an antique that still had cocaine in it. Really give him a buzz. Then all of a sudden, Norm's having a good time. He's feeling connected. You know, when people talk about the Super Bowl, they ask questions and they say, what do you care most about? Do you care about the game itself? Do you care about the commercials? What about the halftime show? How about answer D, none of the above? I care about the people that I'm watching the show with in order to show them that life doesn't have to be the way that it's going. You don't jump up on a granite countertop in a renovated kitchen, maybe has a backsplash. Very tasteful, Kyle. You don't jump up there, kick off the ruffles and French onion dip, because that's tasty. You don't want to ruin that for others or yourself. You don't trample the veggie platter that nobody's touching. You don't stomp the pigs in a blanket and say, I want to give a speech about how disgusting the world is that we're living through. I'm angry at the devil and his minions. That's not going to be received well. You know, early on in this wacky journey of ours, of coming to the sweeping realization that, boy, are things not okay at all in the country, and that the enemies of God have really been pushing it, maybe we didn't approach others in a way that was effective, Kyle. We told them the country's being ruined on purpose. We have traitors, thieves, murderers, and war criminals running the show, and they're laughing at everybody behind the scenes as they kill people and humiliate them. That's a lot for somebody to take in. And we would all like to be direct, forthright, truthful, courageous, and just tell people, hey, things are pretty screwed up right now. But some people who are on the business end trying to receive that message, they might be a little gay and retarded, so to speak. Therefore, it could be tough for them to receive the message in a straightforward way, Kyle. But the Super Bowl, you know the halftime show is going to be littered with satanic imagery. I just get the sense that it's going to be a lot of what looks like demons devouring children, or Usher, who I don't think's been relevant in the better part of a decade and a half. He will be dressed as some kind of saint, maybe an angel. And you say, I don't think Usher's an angel. He might be a good guy, but I don't think he's somebody to look up to all the way. Is it possible that this imagery is communicating something that just isn't true? I don't know. And then you move on. How well can you role play as a normie? When a Travis Kelce Pfizer commercial comes on, you say, didn't a bunch of data come out about the vaccine that wasn't the strongest? I had a bunch of people tell me about that. So many people came up to me and told me about all the negative health consequences that they'd been experiencing. I think pretty much everybody knows that by now. Now notice how I just phrased that. You're referencing the larger social apparatus because most normies don't actually care whether things are true or not. They care whether things are acceptable to think or say. So if you say something like, well, everybody knows that, we've known that for quite some time, they get socially pressured into agreeing. When they find out that they are a shrinking minority of people who believe the things that have been rammed in their ear holes and pulled over their eyes, when they realize that they're part of the out group, boy, does that scare them. But you drop things like that. When Travis Kelce Pfizer commercials to get boosted with more spike protein, when that shows up on the TV, when every Caucasian dude over the age of 30 on a commercial during the Super Bowl is portrayed as an incompetent dipshit who needs to be rescued by his wife or his children, who are really the stars of that family. Perfect time to make a call out and say, why is the dad always the loser in every commercial ever, especially if he can get sunburned? I don't know. It's just something that I noticed. I think pretty much everybody knows that by now. Hey, can I get you a Bud Light? That's what you offer the normies. And then you gauge their reaction to Bud Light. If Bud Light is being served at a Super Bowl party, you know that you have some people who need love and attention and who need to be asked a couple key questions. What if a running back breaks off a huge run, blows through the line of scrimmage, basically untouched? Maybe you just cough and say, reminds me of illegal immigration. People say, what? And you say, I don't know. I like the uniform colors. And then you just drop the subject. But you drop these little hints because they know deep down that the country's being run into the ground and it's been captured, hijacked, and that a lot of people are just kind of going through the motions. Their sense of hope and optimism has all but been extinguished. They are husks of people operating in a system that is spiritually dead, poisonous, foul, radioactive, inappropriate, Kyle. So inappropriate. If people try to talk politics outright and talk about the election, that's when you hit them with, did you hear about that study, though? And they say, what? So the one that says that whoever's in power, it doesn't matter because we're governed by corporations? I don't know. Are you buying it? Oh, well, I'm going to go refill the bowl of Tostitos, scoops. Those things really grasp guacamole well. Are you up to the challenge, Kyle? It's not about the game. It's not about the commercials. It's certainly not about Taylor Swift. You know, I was on the internet the other day, Kyle, and some people were saying conservatives hate Taylor Swift. No, that is a fundamental misrepresentation of what's going on. Most people see a lot of Roman Empire parallels and view this whole Super Bowl as an apex of modern bread and circuses. People who still care about the NFL, they're hurting. People who are stoked on pop music, what a mess. How slow are some of these horses? And by that I mean, how is it possible that some people this late in the game are unwilling to face the music about the way things are going? How is it possible that they don't see it? Because there's three types of people in this world of ours. Kyle, those who can see what's going on, those who can see when they're shown, these are the people you want to reach. And then those people who cannot see at all, even when shown. Whether they're too dopey or whether they're unwilling to have a tough conversation with God and or themselves and say, hey, so what's this whole life thing really about? Is life about more than Xbox, weed, porn, and McDonald's? Is that possible? And when they have that thought, if somebody has that thought, you turn it back on them. You don't say, well, obviously, idiot. You say, I don't know, what do you think? What's your sense? Because they're so close, potentially, to stepping into reality. For maybe the first time ever, maybe just the first time in a long time. That's why the Super Bowl is important, Kyle. That's why any get together with people is important, is because we reset reality and we have opportunities to care for other people. You're not there to humiliate people and tell them that they're dipshits and just flog them with I told you so's. Too easy, plus it's not received well. You tell them that you're excited to see them, even if they ostracized you for not taking an experimental medicine, or if they've been calling you racist for no apparent reason over the years. That's just the program that they've been booted up on. Deep down, a lot of these people still have functioning souls, Kyle, that are begging for connection and honesty, truth, love, belonging. Maybe you show up to your Super Bowl with bingo cards and you know all the things that they're going to show on the television. Maybe one of the squares on the bingo card says Travis Kelce promotes what could be a lethal injection. That's one of the squares. Maybe one of the squares is Taylor Swift is shown on camera over 5 times. Taylor Swift is interviewed after the game, win or lose, for the Chiefs. One of the players has a heart attack during the game for reasons unknown, quote unquote. Super Bowl halftime show perverts the sacred. Or Super Bowl halftime show goes full devil worship. Patrick Mahomes is celebrated for being black. Somebody at your Super Bowl party has a mental breakdown. Put that on the bingo card, Kyle. What else could go on there? Somebody sings the black national anthem, whatever the hell that is. Somebody watching the game inadvertently shows looks of disgust that betray what they typically espouse as their worldview. They're disgusted by things that they claim to support. You look for those microfacial reactions. You know somebody's been lying to you, but most importantly to themselves. Ouch, right, Kyle? Middle-aged white guy is an idiot. Celebrity that you've never heard about makes an appearance in a commercial. Company that doesn't even have a consumer-facing side of their business runs an ad. Happy Super Bowl from Raytheon. Lesbian couple plays hacky sack with aborted fetuses. Sure hope that one's not in there, Kyle. Let's keep going on the commercials, Kyle. These are good. New movie out of a beloved franchise with themes that alienate the existing fan base. Further, new Lord of the Rings from the perspective of the orcs, who are now the good guys for some reason. Hashtag Sauron was misunderstood. Here's another whodunit on the bingo card. Irrelevant celebrity defends the indefensible. What does that look like? Hi, I'm George Takei. Give porn to kids. That could be a commercial, Kyle. Don't rule it out. What's another box that you could put on the commercial bingo card, Kyle? Company pushes a product that has been shown to cause cancer or birth defects or infertility. It's a little 2-for-1 if you got the whole Kelsey Pfizer thing, am I right, Kyle? Pistachios, like the Global Pistachios Consortium, buy an ad. What has that been about, Kyle? Big Pistachio wants to let people know that pistachios are important? Maybe. I don't know. We got any other boxes on this list, Kyle? A tranny is featured in something. You make these before the big game. In fact, that's why this episode is coming out 2 weeks in advance. So not only can you make the bingo cards, you can get them laminated. You know how good it feels to receive anything that's laminated, Kyle? Lets people know you care. This sounds like a really good game. And some people might storm out of your party and drive home. And that's actually a good thing, because when somebody furiously leaves the party over what's a pretty silly and inviting game that you crafted isn't to their liking, when people are all looking around trying to make sense of it, you say, that was pretty weird that Barbara just stormed out. What's her problem? We're just having a good time. Start building consensus against Barbara. You can repair that relationship later with Barbara, Babs. But in that time, you utilize it to connect with people and say, boy, did Barbara get bent out of shape over that? Why is she such a loser, do you think? I don't know. Let's go grab a bratwurst off the grill. You divert people's attention away. Just a quick little whodunit, quick little jab. A lot of these people are used to a quick little jab that has unforeseen consequences. Except these quick little jabs, rather than kill people, will give them life. Kyle, truth breathes life into people's souls. And you're not doing this to be a jerk. You're doing this to be a leader. Presentation and framing is everything when it comes to your Super Bowl shenanigans. Pull out these laminated bingo cards. Give everybody wacky colored Expo pens. Dry erase, Kyle. Because you could use these cards next year, provided society doesn't tear itself to shreds in the next 12 months. These themes will exist because they have existed for decades now. What are some other commercial bingo slots? Truck companies pander to dudes who want to feel a little bit more masculine, as if masculinity could be achieved through consumerism. We at Ford appreciate steel mill workers who make it all happen. We produce most of our stuff in China now, but we put it together outside of Detroit. Add some twangy guitar. Why not? There could be a lot of brands that try to pick up on the manly sales trends. We're not woke. We're down with the values of dudes. Don't you fucking hate dude brands, Kyle? I see right through them. Get some dude wipes and some Black Rifle coffee. It's for manly dudes. Patriots. Here's some other squares for the commercial whodunit. Young career woman is fulfilled without a family. Or maybe you have a childless couple who just look thrilled going on a Carnival cruise without their stupid kids. How about a pet brand likening pets to children? Your dog's your little baby and deserves to be treated like a human being. Dogs are part of the family. Kyle, don't get me wrong. I own a dog. I love my dog. But a dog is not a human child. Let's not make that stretch. Your cat is everything to you. If that's true, reassess your whole life. Old Spice commercial gives you schizophrenia. That's a box for sure, Kyle. I'm a dragon who lives at the bottom of the ocean, but I'm really on the moon. Oh, wait, I'm a chameleon who likes to lie and go skateboarding on Tuesdays in Helsinki. Brought to you in part by Old Spice and Bailey's Irish cream scented deodorant. We're going to call it Richter Bomb. If you want to add in-game elements to this bingo shebang, of course you can. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. It's your bingo game. Taylor Swift hugs Travis Kelce's mom during multiple cutaways, at least 3 times. Nostalgic elements, symbols, imagery, and sounds of decades past are utilized and make people feel pretty positive about the way things used to be. That can happen during a commercial. That can happen during the game itself. What's the big takeaway here, Kyle? Show up. Even if you don't like football, show up for the people. Be a beacon of hope and strength. Take a shower beforehand, Kyle. Use soap. Smell good. Dress well. Don't overdress. Don't show up in a 3-piece suit, Kyle. It's overkill. But show up looking respectable. And even if you don't do this bingo whodunit, you just show up. It's all about touch points. Sure, the Super Bowl represents everything wrong with American culture and has for a while, and is competing with Black Friday as to which day can highlight the themes of overconsumption, gluttony, and full corporate control of the country, shifting our values away from anything rooted in truth, history, and love towards hedonism and nonsense. Those 2 days, Super Bowl and Black Friday, they go pretty hard, don't they, Kyle? But it's our role as DarbyCast doctors to show a little bit of love to people, to continue to lean into relationships, even after people have burned those bridges over the years. Remember, most people who are keeping pace with progressive culture and left-leaning politics, remember, they're in a death cult. And it's not easy to get people out of a cult. I don't know if you've heard that. Over the years, they have been encouraged to cut off ties with everybody. If somebody's not vaccinated, you can't talk to them anymore because they're evil. If somebody voted different from you, they want to kill you and all the minorities. If people want border security, they want to genocide Mexican kids. This is the messaging that a lot of people have been receiving. Maybe you're not hip to left-leaning news. It's a very interesting information ecosystem. I hate interfacing with it, but I do it. So I can have a firm understanding of what the hell is happening to many people that I care about. It's not about the game. It's not about the halftime show. It's not about the commercials. It's not about some new brain-dead talent show that they're trying to promote after the Super Bowl. LeBron James presents Samurai Trampoline Trivia Singing Competition. It's not about that. Believe it or not, Kyle. You show up for the people. You say family matters to me. Friendship matters to me. Even though you've been indoctrinated into a very concerning cult, I'm still willing to interface with you. That's how much I care about you. I care enough about you to laminate something. Kyle, I've never laminated anything in my life. That would communicate more than words ever could. But yeah, this is DarbyCast for you. If you're new here, boy, did you just get your jimmies rustled. Or you got your spirit realigned, and your heart full of hope, joy, possibility, honesty, integrity, courage, rage. Share this with somebody. Because this applies not just to the Super Bowl. This applies to every in-person gathering that you can fathom. Kyle, let's go figure out how to laminate anything. I don't know. I don't even know where to begin on that. But keep tuning into the TikTok lives. Buy some DarbyCast merch if it makes sense for you. I know times are tough right now in the economics department, but we want to spread positive messages to people and let them know that we care about them. How about that, Kyle? Who's going to win the game? Who cares? Who cares? Another commercial box that we forgot, though, Kyle, DraftKings and FanDuel will promote gambling, because that's what we need as society's really struggling. We need more vices available at a moment's notice. We need to be able to gamble on our phones all the time. If we can't, then who are we? If you can't get tanked and consume poison and watch a meaningless sporting match while getting bombarded by moral inversions and outright Satanism, who are we? But that's DarbyCast Wildcard Friday.